Let's talk a little bit about economics, Lewis. I was thinking the other day about supply side economics and demand side economics and thinking about the policies that have been enacted by politicians over many years. To get you up to speed, supply side economics suggests that the best way to stimulate the economy is by increasing the wealth of society's top tier, right? Tax cuts for the rich, corporate tax cuts that lead to bigger bonuses for the rich, etc. And as we know, these are tax cuts. This is stimulating the income of those who don't really have material needs. Most of that money ends up being saved. Interestingly enough, the most famous proponent of this approach, conservatives won't really talk about this, was Karl Marx, who maintained that the owner capitalist class propels industrial development by reinvesting profits in plants and equipment, thus building society's capital stock. As we know, tax cuts for the rich don't do this. The rich basically just save the money. They don't need it. They'd rather just stock it away in a bank account. On the other side, demand side theory, or also known as Keynesian, the government should be spending heavily, even into debt, deficit spending, when the nation is in a recession to accelerate the velocity of money, accelerate economic activity. And we see this when we look at stimulus by the government, right? And if we look at what was done under the first year of the Obama administration, that's what we're talking about under demand economics. And this goes, the idea is you put the money where it will have high velocity. It will be spent quickly with a high multiplier effect. And here we can talk about food stamps, unemployment benefits, etc. People receiving that money, people receiving those benefits need the money, they spend it quickly, and it multiplies through the economy by going through, in some cases, any number of businesses. What do we know about which method is more effective? Well, interestingly enough, there is no proof at all that supply-side economics works. Supply-side economics, whether the economy is good or bad, says tax cuts for the rich stimulate the rich. It doesn't matter what the economy is doing, and that should really be a red flag about supply-side economics. On the other hand, demand-side economics say when the economy is bad, you spend to stimulate. When the economy is better, you can use taxes, as Bill Clinton did, because since there is more income being made, the government can get back to a balanced budget by sheer virtue of a better economy, more income, and collecting income tax off of that economy. Demand-side economics, therefore, depend on the state of the economy. While remember, supply-side economics are just, if the economy's bad, you've got to give tax cuts to the rich. If the economy's good, we can afford to give tax cuts to the rich. It is always tax cuts for the rich. Has that ever worked? No, it really hasn't. Do we have evidence that demand-side economics work? Yes, we do. We have lots of evidence, and I would look at World War II and the spending that was done, the domestic stimulus and infrastructure spending. Look at Bill Clinton's presidency and many more instances. Lewis, we need to remember that one side just never works.
Right. It's kind of cloudy here when we're trying to look at our overall picture, because for a long time, we have been, the government has been spending a lot of money and been spending a lot of money on its citizens. But at the same time, for a very long time, we've had these incredible corporate tax loopholes,
right,
and tax cuts for the rich. And it's just a mess. So when you're talking to people about this, they can kind of just cherry pick different examples from all over the place and say that, well, this is working, this isn't working.
It's difficult to disaggregate the combined policies to talk about what the effect would be of each part of that policy. Keep researching. I encourage you, read about supply side and demand side economics.